VYGOS is Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang. The aim of this forum is to give the Saturday globe at 4:30 p.m. opportunity to learn the ancient science. Those who would miss to attend the Saturday session and benefit can listen to the broadcast of replay inspired by on Sunday at 4:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. The pioneer of Vihangam. The aim of this forum is to give the entire globe in learning the opportunity or want to conduct a program at your place of meditation. And for any inquiries related to it from this pious service, feel free to write to us by info@vihangamyog.org. The pioneer of Vihangam Yoga.
Jai Sadgurudev to everybody. A warm greetings from International Vihangam Yoga community. I am Anurag Dev, your host of the day, and with offering my salute to the lotus feet of Sadgurudev, I welcome all of you about this platform of online weekend satsang series. Today, we are gonna discuss about a very interesting and a very important topic. The topic of the day is regarding inspiration, how to stay inspired and unlock your hidden potentials. But before I begin, let me just thank all of you to be about this platform. You all have been drawing out times from your busy schedules and listening to us live or the replays. Thank you very much to be a part of this particular platform. It is always inspiring and encouraging to have all of you in this session. We are going to start the proceedings of the session in the traditional way. But before I do that, let me introduce to you our international global panel, which is here with us today. We are being joined by Rekhaji and Vijayji from USA. And Adityaji is joining us from India. I am joining from India today. And we are also fortunate to be again joined by Sanat, who is an 8-year-old kid. He's joining us from USA. And the prime speaker of the day, Abhinav Kishorji, he is joining us from Australia. Abhinav Kishorji would be later joined by Adityaji during the question answer session. And both of these speakers, we have had the privilege of listening to them in the past sessions. Abhinav Kishorji has been on the forum many times, and we had an introduction with Adityaji last time. So we will speak more about them and more about the topic, but let's continue with the traditional way of our proceedings by starting the ceremony with the welcome of the divine energy by the recitation of Swagat Gan. Swagat Gan will then be later followed by Mangal Gan. With Mangal Gan, we pray for universal peace. It's a prayer. It's a prayer written by Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj to the lotus feet of Almighty, praying about the eradication of differences in the society and thereby praying to bring universal peace. For Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan, I will turn my attention to our master Sanat, the youngest kid, to be a part of this forum. And I hope, Sanat, am I audible to you as of now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Sanat, it's always great to have you and your voice on this platform. So Sanat, let's start this session with the prayer of Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan. I hand over the control to you. Let's go ahead.
Thank you, Anurag uncle. Jai Sadgurudev to everyone. Swagat Gan. आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत शुभागमाइए अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोमरस बरसाइए दो दोष दूर गुण दूर करके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वार हटाइए खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जनन आइए जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शान आन बचाइए आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत शुभागम आइए। मंगलगान। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए वर्ग द्वंद्व शांति दूर कर भाव भेद मिटाइए सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता ध्यात्मराज बनाइए भेष भाषा भाव जगमय ज्ञान पर दरसाइए समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीति स्वर अपनाइए विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए। बोल सद्गुरुदेव की जय।
Thank you very much, Sanat. That was not just wonderful, but as pure and as divine as the Lord itself. Aaj swagat nitya guruvar sant subhagam aaye. With that, we welcomed the divine energy of Sadgurudev to grace the occasion with its blessings, with its presence. Vishwa Shanti Nama Mangal Parama Guru Ko Dhyaye. And then, with the prayer of Mangal Gan, we prayed for the universal peace, for the eradication of small to small, fine to fine differences of caste, creed, etc. prevailing in the society. With this kind of prayer to the lotus feet of Sadgurudev, we now officially start the session and move towards another great milestone in this particular session, the recitation of the unique creation of Sadgurudev, Sarved. Today's topic is about inspiration. Today's topic is about how to sustain the inspiration. This unparalleled source of knowledge, this book of Brahma Vidya, the encyclopedia of spirituality, the Sarved, it is not a reference of any other scripture in this world. It is a knowledge, it is a compilation of true spiritual experiences gathered, the knowledge of Brahma Vidya gathered by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj in his path of spiritual exploration. This book doesn't have a reference. Indeed, it is a reference to every knowledge that we know of. It is a living inspiration. It's a conscious inspiration in right words for all of us. For the recitation of few relevant compositions from this book, I move my attention and I redirect all our attention to Vijayji from USA, and I request him to go ahead and take over the control and proceed with few recitations from this great scripture. Vijayji, over to you.
Thank you, Anurag Devji. Jai Sadgudev to everybody. Svarved is the expression of experience that Sadguru Siddhafal Devji Maharaj went through in his journey of 17 long years of meditation. Svarved has been written in the context of making the best use of human breath and spending it in the ultimate goal of human life. Sadgurudev writes in Svarved, श्वासा एक अमूल्य है, हीरा मूल्य न आए, सो खो वो तुम शयन में, धोखे जन्म गवाए। दिन में विषय विकार में, निशा शयन सुख पाए, हाथ हीरा आया गया, दुर्लभ जन्म नशाय. Each breath in the human body is precious. It cannot be traded for petty things. We just cannot waste it in worldly affairs alone. Maya has kept the soul encaged in the worldly subjects 24/7 by the means of various tricks, thoughts, and attractions. The moment one is relieved of a task, next one stands on the way for the attention. Therefore, one remains lost in finishing never-ending worldly affairs days and nights. Wise are those who understand the play of Maya and hence involved in worldly affairs only as much as required. We must keep reminding ourselves every day that my limited breath for the day will go waste if I don't use it for the ultimate goal of human life. So the takeaway from this Svarved couplet is to become conscious about the precious human opportunity. One must know that after lakhs of births and rebirths in various other species, finally we have obtained a rare human life, which alone has the opportunity to test the divine bliss ocean. And if the rare opportunity is not leveraged in knowing the divine, one will be thrown back again in the vicious cycle of births and rebirths in various painful species. This very awareness that the human life is so rare, this very awareness keeps a human being inspired for the economical use of the human breaths. The next Svarved couplet reminds us of the human capabilities. Sadgurudev writes in Svarved, मानव शक्ति के बाहरे जगत काम कोई नहीं, बाहर है सो पुरुष का सर्वशक्ति जहि माही. There exists no work in the world beyond human capabilities. Works beyond human capabilities are only those that Almighty alone can do. Hence, a human being has tremendous opportunity for not only achieving prosperity, but in achieving experience of divine self and the Supreme Almighty Himself. Therefore, one must not give up despite multiple failures, as each one of us have capabilities beyond our imaginations. Svarved further teaches us that we are aware of only physical powers of our senses, our organs of actions, through which we are performing our daily worldly affairs. What we are not aware of is the power of consciousness, through which one can go beyond limits of physical organs and can experience dimensions that has the source of bliss ocean. All we need is to awaken the power of consciousness through the practice of Vihangam Yoga meditation under the shelter of Sadhguru's energy, and make the best use of the human opportunity. The takeaway from this couplet is to know that we as a human being have tremendous capabilities. Hence, we must not waste time in staying idle and discouraged because of failures. We can do wonders with constant efforts and can achieve unimaginable, including experience of Divine Almighty right in this birth itself. All we need is to guide our life in the principles and practices prescribed by Sadhguru, who has the capability to awaken the hidden conscious power within us. With this, I conclude. Over to you, Anuragji.
Thank you very much, Vijayji, not for the wonderful recitation of Sarve Dohas, but also for exemplary and wonderful explanations of it. मानव शक्ति के बाहरे जगत काम कोई नाही, बाहर है सो पुरुष का सर्व शक्ति जहि माही. Very rightly and brought out in Sarved by Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. Nothing is beyond the capabilities of a human being. As rightly said by, explained by Vijayji, there is much more to realize beyond the power of our physical senses for us. All of us are looking for some or the other motivation, some or the other inspiration in life. Everything that we aspire to achieve or everything that we have achieved, there is much and much more that can still be achieved. And that's not possible without a constant source of inspiration, without a sustained inspiration. These days, the word inspiration is in a lot of fuss in the market. We hear of great deeds, we come across great people, and we get inspired. But this has been even a personal experience of mine, that the motivation itself doesn't last long. The inspiration itself doesn't last long. These waves are very short-lived. They reach a zenith and then they fade away. Then we again start looking for some other inspiration, for some other motivation. Today's topic is about how do we sustain this inspiration? What kind of things in life can help us, sustaining this, bringing a permanence to this inspired of us, to this inspired aspect of our personality. To speak onto this matter, to take us deep into this particular subject, we are graced with the presence of Abhinav Kishorji. Abhinav Kishorji, as I already introduced, has been a speaker on this forum before too. Apart from being associated with software industry, he's a logical, very, very logical thinker, even a good writer, and of course a great speaker. I can go on adding several attributes to his personality, but none of them as compared to his deep reflection on the ancient scientific technique of Vihangam Yoga and its relevance in our day-to-day life. Today, we are fortunate to have him among us, and today he is going to take us deep into this particular subject of inspiration, unlocking our hidden potentials. I pass on the control to you, Abhinavji. Over to you.
Thank you, Anuragji. Jai all. So today I have the good fortune and pleasure of speaking to you all about a topic which is very dear to my heart as well as the heart of everyone on this platform. and that is of inspiration. In this modern day, there are many examples of people, as Anurag Devji was saying, of people who give us a sense of going beyond ourselves. From great sports people to great politicians to amazing thinkers through the ages, there have always been people who have taught us and who have told us and made us feel like we can achieve more than we are achieving today. In saying this, we must ask ourselves, what does it feel like to be inspired? What is that actual feeling of inspiration? Before we can sustain it, we have to understand what it actually is. When we are inspired, one of the things that I have often felt, and that most of the people I've talked to about this have felt, is a sense of lightness and a sense of ascension. A sense that your limited version of yourself, that you limit yourself to, is just an illusion, and that you can go far beyond that. And it is a very liberating feeling. When we feel like this, we start to feel an energy coursing through us, a potential coursing through us, telling us that we can go far beyond ourselves. But as we go through life, this energy and this force becomes misconstrued. It becomes less powerful, less energetic. And we must ask ourselves, why is that the case? When we look at physical systems, when they have a source of energy flowing through them, the key reason that that energy dissipates is because of friction, is because of a counterforce. In our own lives, there is different forms of gravity acting upon us at all times. In the 1600s, Isaac Newton very thoughtfully put forward an equation which explained that the gravity acting on a physical object is determined by mass, the gravitational constant, and the distance that those two objects are far apart. But let me ask you this. When you are feeling happiness, when you are feeling sadness, what is the distance that you are from that event which is causing you happiness or sadness? You are almost indistinguishable from that event. The distance you are from it is extremely small. The mass, the weight it exerts upon your consciousness is innumerable. And so there are different forms of gravity acting upon us at all times. The gravity of desire, the gravity of emotion, the gravity of success, the gravity of failure. These are always acting upon us and dragging us in different directions. And what it causes is that we are always attached, or perhaps not attached, we are not able to free ourselves and ascend beyond all of these things and become an even better version of ourselves. And when we look at great people in the universe, one of the people I'm deeply inspired by in the Western world is a man by the name of Viktor Frankl. The story of Viktor Frankl goes that he was actually part of the Holocaust tragedy. And he was a man who was imprisoned during this time. And it's an extremely sad story in history behind the imprisonment of people during that time. But he was one of these people unrightfully imprisoned. And despite all of the tortures, difficulties, pain which he was put through by the people who were imprisoning him, he was never deterred. He was never disturbed. And why was this? People would ask him, why are you not disturbed? How can you stay positive? And he would say, what I feel is my decision. No one can change that. Who I am is my decision. No one can change that. Doesn't matter what you do to my body, my mind, my spirit will not be broken. So what are we inspired by? When a person climbs a mountain like Mount Everest, we are not inspired only by the bodily achievement that they have put their physical capacity to the limits of our imagination and gone to the highest peak in the world. What we are even more inspired by is their consciousness, is their ability and their depth of commitment and mental strength to go above and beyond. And so what this tells us is one other thing. When we are inspired by people who have achieved great things, it tells us one thing about all human beings, that we have something in common. If we can identify the potential in another person, then that means that potential must exist in us. Otherwise, how is it that we can identify how difficult it is for something to be achieved by someone else? That is because we have something in common with that person. If we enter the world of Eastern philosophy, if we enter the world of spirituality, the world of Vihangam Yoga, what is being said? What is being said is, you do not require anyone or anything to become above and beyond. All you require is yourself. As is said, yourself is good enough, because just you, within you, is the entire universe itself. And so spirituality, Vihangam Yoga, tells us that we have the potential to expand our consciousness in such a way that we are able to achieve things we did not imagine, we could not imagine. The highest state of consciousness is not just available to people who are spiritual thinkers, to people who study a lot, who are a certain kind of person. It is available to you despite any caste, creed, race, gender, age, nation. It doesn't matter where you come from. No matter what form of man-made difference you put in front of anything or anyone, that you are this kind of person, it is still available to you. This is the most optimistic and the most positive message of spirituality and of Vihangam Yoga. That doesn't matter where you are, or what form of life, what walk of life you are from. This energy, this state of consciousness where you are in tune with the energy inside you and the energy around you, it is available to one and all. I'm going to tell one short story and then tell you who it is of. There was once a man who, since he was young, he would wonder, what is the highest state of consciousness? How can I understand the universe and existence? How can I ascend? And this man, he went on a journey. He left his home at a very young age and he went on a journey around all of India. He mastered everything there was to master, every form of yoga, every form of asana, pranayama, all of these things he mastered. He acquired many different siddhis, but still he was not content. Still he thought there was more. And as time went on and he went through this quest, this darkness of not knowing which way to go, as he continued, the light slowly presented itself to him. And he became a master of spirituality. This man's name is Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. And to be completely honest, my retelling of this story does no justice to it. And to call him a man is very difficult, because to think about the things that he achieved is irreplaceably difficult. And so the message that we get from Vihangam Yoga, the word Vihangam itself relates to the state where we are able to fly freely, where we are untouched. We are able to escape all gravity, whether it be the gravity of desire or emotion, or success or failure. We are able to ascend beyond that because we are free. And because we are free, we are in tune with a higher state of consciousness. And in that state of consciousness, the key thing that we require to achieve anything great in life and to remain inspired in life becomes very easy for us. When you ask a sports person what they were thinking when they made that incredible dive or that incredible run or that incredible shot, what do they say? They say, I wasn't thinking anything. I was just feeling. I was in the zone. Well, spirituality says you can be in the zone at all times. Your life can be led in a way where the zone is not something that comes about when you are pushed to your limits. It's a state in which you exist in. As the Master says, there are 3 kinds of people in the world. 1, the kind of person who never begins a good task, a task that is good for them and humanity. The 2nd, a kind of person who begins these tasks, but as soon as they become difficult, they stop and go about their lives in a different way. But there's a 3rd kind of person who, once they begin a difficult task, or a task which is for the good of themselves and humanity, they see it through till the very, very end. And this person is known as a Mahatma. And so to remain inspired in life, the science of it is that the conscious energy within us has to be situated and focused upon the achievement of the goals we are setting ourselves. No matter who we look to, whichever great person we look to, this is what they are doing. The conscious energy within them is being focused in such a streamlined way that not a shard of energy is being spent on anything other than what they intend for it to be spent on in their life. And this state is not just available to people who have been in spirituality for hundreds of years. No, it is available to one and every one of us, each and every one of us, regardless of any man-made stratification. So in closing, what I'd really like to express is that the ancients have given us a way to do this. And that is called meditation. Meditation can be understood in many ways, but the simplest way to understand it is a practice which allows you to control your consciousness. Controlling your consciousness not only gives you a different drive in your life, it gives you the ability to unlock your hidden potential. It gives you the ability to be honest with yourself and to be yourself. Because if you're inspired by someone, that should not mean you want to become that person. Otherwise, what is your contribution to the world? There is no one can replace you. So you must be confident in who you are. Inspiration does not mean we should become a different person. It means we should embrace ourselves, not only the difficulties we have faced, the mistakes we have made, and learn from them, but also to embrace the deep and meaningful potential we have in our lives. And so in closing, Pyongyang Yoga is a way to free yourself of all gravity. And by freeing yourself of all gravity, you are able to ascend to a state of existence where the only compass is that of the divine, and that of yourself, of the contribution you want to have on the world and on the universe at large. So with that, I'd like to hand back to Anurag Devji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abhinav Kishorji. Thank you very much. This was indeed a wonderful session. Very rightly brought out by Abhinavji. In summary, I would say what Abhinavji tried to explain was like there is not just Abhinavji, I think even Vijayji tried to brought out during the recitation of Sarved, that there is a greater version of ourselves, a version of ourselves that can be realized if we control our consciousness in a much better and a much focused way. As Abhinavji brought it out, meditation is that particular technique that allows us, that help us to have control over our conscious energy. And once this control is attained, as we learned from Sarved, Mano Shakti ke bahre, Jagat Kam koi na. Nothing remains unachievable beyond the capabilities of a normal human being. That's the greatness of this human form. That's the energy the Creator, the Almighty, has imbibed in us as a human being. Being a human being is a package of not just the powers of your physical organs, but also this package is capable of holding the spiritual energy, the higher energy related to consciousness. Our Vedas says, our scripture says, our ancient says, this is the only form of life that is capable of achieving something like the Lord itself. We will discuss more on this topic of inspiration, and we'll also take question and answers which are popping up in slido.com. I again thank all our audience live at this point of time to give us a response like this. And I request Abhinavji to stay connected because there could be a question coming for him. And we will be later joined by Adityaji also in the question and answer session. For the time being, I move my focus towards a very important segment of this particular session, the bhajan session. And for that, I would like to redirect all our attention to Rekha ji from USA and request her to present a bhajan among us. Rekha ji, over to you.
Thank you, Anurag Devji, and Jai Shakrudev, everybody. Bhajan. बिना सद्गुरु के सुमिरन के नहीं जीव को करारी है। बिना सद्गुरु के सुमिरन के नहीं जीव को करारी है। गर्भ में दुख पावता भजन प्रभु की सकारी है। गर्भ में दुख पावता भजन प्रभु की सकारी है। भये जब गर्भ से बाहर, भये जब गर्भ से बाहर कौल को तू बिसारी है। बिना सद्गुरु के सुमिरन के नहीं जीव को करारी है। भजन सुंदर है सो त्यागा विषय के सुख में जारी है। भजन सुंदर है सो त्यागा विषय के सुख में जारी है। सुतवित नारी में भूला, सुतवित नारी में भूला भजन तजी बन नारी है। बिना सद्गुरु के सुमिरन के नहीं जीव को करारी है। श्वासो श्वास हरि सुमिरो कुशल तब ही तुम्हारी है। श्वासो श्वास हरि सुमिरो कुशल तब ही तुम्हारी है। सदा फल मुक्ति हो जग से, सदा फल मुक्ति हो जग से, नहीं तो दुख भारी है। बिना सद्गुरु के सुमिरन के नहीं जीव को करारी है। बिना सद्गुरु के सुमिरन के नहीं जीव को करारी है। We all know that human species is very special and superior in all means from other species. In this bhajan, Sadgurudev says that when a soul is in mother's womb, that time it is in deep pain. Soul resides in darkness and every moment prays to the Lord Almighty to bring itself out from there. But when it comes out, the soul forgets all the pain by seeing the colorful world and it gets lost in the worldly pleasures. Sadgurudev says, "O dear souls, use your time wisely and devote every breath in the worship of God, else you are not far from the same pain of birth and death." With this, I would like to end here. Boliye Sadgurudev ki jai. Over to you, Anurag Dev ji.
Thank you, Rekha ji. Thank you very much for this wonderful bhajan. बिना सदगुरु के सुमिरन को नहीं जीव को करारी है. Without the realization of a true Sadguru, without the realization of a spiritual master, the achievement of the ultimate human goal is not possible. Thanks again for the wonderful singing of this bhajan. We now move towards the next and a very important segment of the session, the question answer session. I can see that some questions are popping up on Slido and through the WhatsApp. So basically, we have got another 12 to 13 minutes for the question answer session, and I would like to cover as much as possible. I will try to cover as much as possible within this short limited frame of time. And to take us into the question answer session, we are now privileged to be joined by Aditya ji. Aditya ji, we have heard him in the previous session, a wonderful speaker, and not just a speaker, but also an artist by profession. He runs a dance academy, and he has been an ardent practitioner of this ancient Vihangam Yoga meditation technique, and has been associated with this knowledge of Sadgurudev for a very long time. I welcome you, Aditya ji, and I also request Avinoy ji to remain connected. Aditya ji, is it audible and clear to you, my voice?
Yes, Anurag ji.
Welcome, Aditya ji. So basically, we are gonna focus on, I think I've got some 2 questions coming on the Slido for you. So the first question, basically, I believe it's a continuation from where we left last time, and also very relevant to the topic that we are discussing today. The first question reads as, is it possible to stop our sense organs dragging our consciousness towards their subjects? So basically, as we were dealing with the pursuit, the senseless pursuit topic last time, in continuation to this, the seeker is trying to find an answer to a very generic form of this question. So basically, in our day-to-day lives, our sense organs are getting dragged towards several kind of subjects. How do we achieve a control over this? Over to you, Aditya-ji.
Thank you, Anurag-ji. Jai Gurudev to everyone. I'd like to start with a short story. Once there was a king who stumbled upon a beggar. The king asked the beggar, "What do you wish to have?" The beggar replies, "I don't think you have enough of what I want to give to me." To that the king reminds him, "I am a very big king, and I can give you anything you may so desire." The beggar asked, "Are you sure?" "Yes," said the king. "Can you fill my empty bowl with money?" asked the beggar. So the king filled his bowl with jewels and money, but as soon as he filled it up, it all disappeared. Though this shocked him, his ego was too big to feel that he could accept defeat to a beggar. He went on to refill his bowl only to see that the money disappeared again. Like this, the king ended up putting in all his money and kept losing it until he had nothing left to give. He accepted defeat, but asked, "What is the secret behind this bowl of yours? Could you please tell me?" The beggar said, "This bowl represents man's greed." So what is the point to learn from this story? That there is no end to our pursuit of the things we strongly desire. And why is this so? Because most of the times what we desire is based on what others may have that we don't. Hence we wish to possess it, so we immerse ourselves completely in its pursuit until it affects our health or relationships with our loved ones. Today, we are making efforts to win the world, but the more we are trying, the more hollow we are becoming from within. Mankind is engulfed by immorality, lack of restraint, and many kinds of ill intentions. Man has become a slave of wealth and instant gratification derived from sensual pleasures. Even animals get these pleasures. They are also deriving the pleasures of the body. They take food, they also sleep, they fear, they mate. So what is the difference? The difference is of discrimination, knowledge, and the sense of righteous duties. Man must get physical enjoyment, but if the entire life is spent on acquiring these pleasures, wealth, and worldly desires alone, then the spiritual life can never be built, and the supreme purpose of the human life will be unfulfilled. But this does not mean we should not look to secure more wealth or get worldly pleasures, but should acquire and enjoy them righteously, in a controlled and restrained manner, with morality. And we mustn't forget the main goal of our existence, the very reason we have been blessed with this body. The human body is the finest creation of God. It will achieve its purpose only with the ascension of Brahm Vidya. Sadhguru Ji says in Swarved, "Brahm Vidya chingi udi, lagi karm ghar aag, karm vasna jar gayi, chetan chetan jag." So Sadafal Dev Ji Maharaj says, when the glow of Brahm Vidya emerges, when its light spreads, at that moment it annihilates storehouse of karma. We are performing karma every moment. However, we may acquire a unique sublime state when our karmas do not become the reason for fetter. This happens through Brahm Vidya. This is the internal manifestation of Brahm Vidya. Sadhguru says the fruits, the consequences of all the longings created by our actions, the impressions, get annihilated in the blaze of Brahmvidya. And then what happens? Chetan, Chetan Jag, the conscious soul, the individual soul, the soul that is limited to one place at a time, establishes union and acquires the attributes of the omnipresent universal soul, God. This becomes possible in the light of Brahmvidya through the divine flow of Vihangam Yoga. Over to you, Anuragji.
Thank you very much, Aditya. So I think very rightfully brought out the glow of Brahmavidya, the light of Brahmavidya knowledge, and realizing the same, realizing the human potential, realizing the human life's aim in the light of Brahmavidya. Basically, that brings me back to Avinojji, if you are still connected with us.
Yes.
Yeah. So the glow of Brahmavidya, the light of Brahmavidya. During your discourse, the entire universe inside me, the wordings used by me, the realization of the entire universe inside me. The seeker basically asks, how can I realize this particular aspect when I'm struggling in every day-to-day life with my sensory capabilities to achieve small things? So basically, we make a big statement like the realization of the entire universe is possible inside me within the light of Brahmavidya, with the knowledge of Brahmavidya. But what seeker is thinking from a very practical perspective, that when I'm struggling in my day-to-day life with my sense organs, with its capabilities to even achieve small things, how is this great realization possible with the knowledge of Brahmavidya? And I think this also connects to the second question, where the seeker is asking, is it even possible to sustain motivation? And if yes, how it can be done with Vihangam Yoga? So I think both the questions are kind of related. Would like you to reflect upon it for next 2-3 minutes.
Sure, thank you, Anuragji. So I would say the one really key thing here is that the state of your consciousness is determined by the things you do with it. So if you spend time in the world and only spend time in the world, then you will not realize what you are and what your self is. So in the same way that in large systems, in large physical systems, the state of that system is determined by, it's a combination of the things that system is involved in, the things that system is doing. You know, if a car is in motion, then its properties will be determined by the kind of motion it's in. In the same way, our state of consciousness is determined by what we are doing. So when we say the entire universe is in me, the first step really is to not disconnect yourself, but to spend some time with yourself. Because we spend a lot of time in the world, but we spend very little time with the person who we spend all of our lives with, which is us. So the message of Vihangam Yoga is very straightforward here, that if you spend time for yourself by doing simple things like spending 10 minutes meditating in the morning and evening, then you will understand the nature of your energy. And the nature of your energy is such that it shares attributes, it is permeated by the same energy that exists everywhere in the universe. So the energy that flows through you is the same as the energy that flows through a flower, for example. And once we understand the properties of that energy, of that subtle energy, then the universe becomes a celebration. Life becomes a celebration. And, you know, that is the key thing here, that in order to reach that state of being subtle, of understanding the energy, the potential, the motivation inside of us, and retain that, we have to retain a sense of self-focus, self-growth, self-awareness, and as is very commonly said in the world, self-enlightenment. But to do that, the first step is to actually, you know, achieve balance between the amount of time we spend with the world and with ourselves. So I think I hope that answers the question, and I'll hand it back to you, Anuragji.
Yes, very rightly, Abhinavji. Yes, that answers the question. So basically what I believe you're trying to bring out is the realization of the inner conscious energy. That makes, when that happens through the knowledge of this particular Brahma Vidya, through the knowledge of Sadgurudev, the dependency on the external motivational factors fade away, and you are no more dependent on the external motivating factors. Rather, you are constantly in touch with the source of energy that is everlasting. And since it is everlasting, the motivation that you feel is very, very permanent. So that brings me to the last question back to Aditya-ji, for which I have around 2 minutes. Basically, it's kind of, this question is trying to summarize the entire session, where the seeker is putting a very, very plain question. How is Brahma Vidya, according to Sadhguru, a remedy for these issues? So over to you, Aditya-ji. I think I have another 2 minutes. Please go ahead.
Okay, Anuragji, I'll do my best and given the time we have. First of all, we need to understand what is Brahma Vidya. So according to our Upanishads, there are two types of knowledge that exist in the world. There's one Apara Vidya, and second is Para Vidya. So all knowledge that falls under the gamut of worldly knowledge is included in Apara Vidya. That is like the complete knowledge of the four Vedas, the Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur, Atharveda, general education, astrology, astronomy, science, arts, culture, etc. All the knowledge that comes under the gamut of worldly knowledge would come under Apara Vidya. Whereas the knowledge that makes us experience our true self is Para Vidya. Now, through Brahma Vidya, we make a journey inwards to realize our soul and the Supreme Soul. It is the science of the Almighty God. Brahma Vidya originates from Brahm, who's pervading the universe and is operating every action that takes place. And Brahma Vidya is in the custody of the Sadguru. All of our agonies, our ignorance, our contrary knowledge gets dispelled with the divine light of Brahma Vidya. The complete knowledge of Vedic scriptures is derived from Brahma Vidya, even if it's the knowledge of Apara Vidya. The knowledge of Brahma Vidya bestows one with the knowledge of Apara Vidya and Para Vidya both. Entire worldly knowledge, including the science, creation, annihilation that we acquire by reading other scriptures, we acquire it by reading Swarved. This is the knowledge, this knowledge is the external outer knowledge of Brahma Vidya. Then there's the internal secret meditation. So one is theory and the other is practical. As Sadhguruji says, Ek tattva va kaun hai, jehi jana sab jaan na jana soi bhai, roop ek doye gyan. What is the science knowing which nothing remains unknown? Knowing which makes one know everything. The science, that science is the science of spirituality, the science of Brahma Vidya. But which state develops after knowing it? The true self is a conscious being. And two conscious entities do not fuse into one. The soul doesn't become God. It just acquires its properties, its attributes. It acquires the form of God, acquires the bliss of God. It doesn't by any means convert into God. This is the underlying philosophy of Swarved, of Brahma Vidya. As Vijayji had mentioned that Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, the originator of Vihangam Yoga, has documented all his experiences in Swarved. After 17 years of rigorous meditation, whatever spiritual experience he acquired in the state of Samadhi, state of oneness with God, he compiled in Swarved. It is a subject of spiritual knowledge of Brahma Vidya. Moreover, all aspects of human life are covered in this great treatise. So it is important for us to embrace Brahma Vidya in our lives, to remove all contrary knowledge, to remove and to give us, to help us, take us in the right path of self-realization. Over to you, Anuragji.
Thank you very much, Aditya. So I think that question is an elaborate question, and I understand the timing limitations. So the knowledge of Brahma Vidya, what Vijayji and what Abhinavji and what Adityaji has been trying to bring out is with this particular knowledge of Brahma Vidya, with the able guidance of Sadgurudev, it is possible to get connected with that permanent source of inspiration, with that permanent source of energy that can keep lighting our way throughout our lives. With this, we now are coming towards the end of the session, and for the prayers, the concluding prayers, I will again request Sanat to go ahead and present Shanti part. Sanat, over to you.
Thank you, Anurag uncle. Jai Sadgurudev to everyone. Shanti part. हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांति में शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांति में शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व शांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति। Dev ki jai.
Shanti, Shanti, Sukh, Shanti. With that prayer of peace, with that prayer of Shanti part from Sanat, we have drawn towards the end of this particular session. I thank all the seekers, to all the speakers, Abhinavji, Adityaji, Vijayji, everybody on this platform aboard for contributing their valuable time and gracing the occasion with their presence. Offering my salute to the lotus feet of Sadgurudev and wishing you a great life, a prosperous life, and a great health. I bid goodbye with all of you for now. Let's get connected next weekend at the very same time via the same medium next weekend. Till then, Jai Sadgurudev to all.